Hello friends, today we will study lab formation systems. As we know, uh, for combing the material we have to feed a lab, and this lab can be prepared by two types of systems. One system requires two machines, sliver lapper plus ribbon lapper, and another system requires drop frame plus lap former. So which system is better and why, that we will study today. First of all, we should be clear about the machines required for producing carded yarn and combed yarn. If we don't require combing operation, then uh, we require following machines, that is blow room for preparing sheet of material which is fed to the next machine card, which is producing sliver. This sliver is given two passage of drop frame, and then it is fed, sliver is fed to the speed frame for producing roving, and this roving is fed on the ring frame to produce yarn. Then this yarn is wound on cones on automatic winding machines. Then 4-ply machines, 3-ply yarns are prepared on cheese winding machine, and then twist to the 3-ply, 4-ply, 2-ply yarn is given on TFO. And if we require combed yarn, then we require following machines, blow room and card. The card sliver will follow two types of routes. So it is up to us which machines we want to purchase. So one option is sliver lapper and ribbon lapper. This is an old sequence of machines which is not used these days, which are used in the lesser number of mills. And after sliver lapper, ribbon lapper, lap is prepared and which is fed on the comber machine. Then after combing, one post comber drop frame passage is given on, and then the drop frame sliver is fed to the speed frame, and then to the ring frame, winding, cheese winding, and TF. These days, we are using the sequence drop frame and lap former, and this sequence is very popular and economical also. So we follow this sequence of machines, that is blow room, card, drop frame, lap former, comber, drop frame, speed frame, ring frame, winding, cheese winding, TF. So why this route is followed and what are the benefits, that we will study. What is the basic difference between these two types of sequence? Basically, we can divide the two types of principles. One is web doubling, which is followed in sliver lapper, ribbon lapper, and it is still used for superfine counts of 100 count, 120 count, 140 count. And the another principle is sliver doubling process. So for producing lap, we can follow either of these two processes. So sliver doubling is generally used for medium and fine counts for 40s, 60s, 80s, and this is most commonly used. So web doubling involves superimposition of the web sheets. It may be 6 or more or less, generally 6. Superimposition of 6 webs over each other. Whereas sliver doubling is superimposition of the slivers. The different slivers are combined together to form the lap sheet. So what is the difference between them? So first sequence is sliver lapper. In this, the basic principle is doubling of card sliver and drafting. So in this case, the feed material is a card sliver and product is a lap. Draft of 1.3 to 3 is given generally, and doubling of 24 card sliver is generally done. The lap which are produced on the sliver lapper machine are again fed to the ribbon lapper machine. Here 6 laps are fed and there is superimposition of 6 lap sheets and draft is also applied. So the feeding material is lap and what we are getting again lap. So there is a draft of 6 is applied and 6 laps are doubled. Means we are doing the doubling of 6 laps and draft of 6 is applied. Next is sequence is draw frame and lap former. In draw frame, as we know very well, the basic principle is doubling and drafting, and feed material is card sliver, and product is again sliver. What we are doing in this machine, a draft of 8 is applied and doubling of 8 sliver is done. So drafting and doubling of generally 8 is done. It may be more or less also. Then these draw frame slivers are fed on the lap former machine. Here doubling, drafting and superimposition of 2 lap sheets is generally done. So different manufacturers may offer different doubling and different draft. But for example, we have taken the most common figures which are followed in the industries. That is shown in the table. It is not necessary that every industry should follow this criteria, but this is just for example. So what we are feeding in lap format, draw frame sliver. What we are getting, lap. And draft of 1.4 to 2.4 is applied. And doubling of 28 slivers is done. This is the technical analysis of the lab preparation systems. So now which is better and why? This diagram shows you that how the ribbon lapper is working. Here the 6 laps are fed and 6 from the 6 laps, 6 lap sheets or webs are coming and they are superimposed over each other and this is called doubling of the lap sheets, and then drafting rollers are there. So drafting is also applied. So doubling and drafting of generally 6 is done in the industry. So which is better and why? We will study today. So there are 2 types of sequence: sliver lapper, ribbon lapper, and draw frame lap former. The former consists of sliver lapper, ribbon lapper consists of doubling of 24 in sliver lapper, in ribbon lapper it is 6, so total doubling is 144. And how much is total draft employed? 1.5 in sliver lapper and 6 in ribbon lapper. The total is 9. So it is generally followed for the superfine counts, and it is web doubling, pad doubling, and it is followed for the 10% cases in the industries. So in the draw frame plus lap former sequence, total doubling is draw frame 8 and lap former 28. Total is 224. And how much draft is employed. In draw frame it is 8, in lab format it is 2, then total draft is 16. So if we compare these two data, we can see that the doubling is also more in draw frame lab format and draft is also more in draw frame lab format. So both the figures are good in this draw frame lab format. So that's why it is used for most of the cases. 90% in case 90% cases this is followed, and this is used for medium and fine counts, and this is economical also because in this case we will require only lab former. A new machine is required for comber and lab former. Whereas in a former sequence, sliver lapper, ribbon lapper, we will be requiring two machines for lab preparation and one comber. So number of machines required are also less in draw frame lab former sequence. Total number of doubling is also more, and total draft is also more. And quality, it has been found by trials in the industry that the quality is also comparable and there is no significant difference in the quality of the material if we compare sliver lapper, ribbon lapper and draw frame lab former. So that's why for 90% cases draw frame lab former sequence is used. So it is better and economical, whereas sliver lapper, ribbon lapper is also uh, good, and for super fine counts it is used, and because it involves the principle of web doubling, that's why the quality is very good. For super fine counts the quality norms are stringent, so this is sliver lapper, ribbon lapper is used, but all new mills are these days following purchasing the draw frame lab format sequence, because the same quality can be given by these draw frame lab format sequence. So we can conclude that draw frame lab format is good, economical, and mostly used in the industry. So with this, we can conclude our lecture of this lab preparation system. Thank you.